The courtroom doors swung open. Not a knock, not an apology, just swung open like this was a hotel lobby, and Richard Veneer owned the building. He walked in wearing a suit that cost more than my clerk makes in 3 months, flanked by 4 attorneys who looked like they'd never lost a case they actually cared about. 6 feet tall, silver hair, that particular kind of arrogance that money buys when you've had it long enough to forget what life looks like without it. He didn't glance at me, didn't nod, didn't even pretend to acknowledge that a judge was sitting 10 feet in front of him. He just strolled to the defendant's table, sat down, and started whispering to his lead attorney like I was wallpaper. I let him settle in, let him get comfortable. Then I took off my glasses, slowly, set them down on the bench with a click that made everyone in the room hold their breath. Mr. Veneer, my voice was calm, perfectly calm, the kind of calm that comes right before a storm you didn't see coming. He glanced up, barely. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. 7 minutes late. I assume traffic was unpredictable. One of his attorneys shot to his feet like someone had yanked him up with a string. Your Honor, if I may, I raised one finger, just one. Counselor, my eyes didn't leave Veneer. When I want to hear from you, I will ask you a direct question. Until then, you are furniture. Expensive furniture, but furniture. Sit down. The attorney sat. I leaned forward. Mr. Veneer, let me explain something to you. This is not a boardroom. This is not your yacht. This is not one of those charity galas where everyone pretends to like you because you write checks. This is my courtroom, and in my courtroom, we follow 3 very simple rules. I held up 3 fingers. Rule number 1, you show up on time. Rule number 2, you show respect. Rule number 3, you do not lie to me, because if you lie to me, Mr. Veneer, I will know. And when I know, you will wish you had stayed in traffic. Veneer shifted in his chair, just slightly, but I saw it. Now, I picked up my glasses, put them back on, and opened the file in front of me. Let's talk about why you're here. $1.7 million in unpaid fines, building code violations, environmental violations, harassment of small business owners. Does any of this sound familiar, or should I speak slower? His attorney started to rise again. I didn't even look at him. Counselor, if you stand up one more time without me asking you a question, I'm going to assume you have a medical condition and we'll take a recess so you can see a doctor. Do we understand each other? The attorney froze halfway out of his chair, then slowly sat back down. Veneer finally spoke. Your Honor, with all due respect, stop. One word, sharp as a knife. Mr. Veneer, let me give you some free advice. In my experience, and I have been doing this longer than you've been wearing expensive suits, every time someone starts a sentence with all due respect, what they really mean is, I'm about to disrespect you, but I'm going to wrap it in a bow. So let's skip the bow. Say what you want to say, but choose your words very, very carefully, because I am not interested in what you think happened. I am interested in what actually happened, and there is a difference. I folded my hands on the bench. So, do you understand why you're here, or do I need to draw you a picture? Veneer's jaw tightened. I understand the accusations, Your Honor. I don't understand their merit, but I understand them. I nodded slowly. Good, that's a start. Now let me tell you what I understand. I understand that you've had 3 years to pay these fines. 3 years. That's of 1,095 days. And in all that time, you somehow managed to pay for, I glanced at the file, a $12 million yacht upgrade, a vacation home in the Hamptons, and a private jet lease. But you couldn't find $1.7 million to pay the city for the laws you broke. I looked up. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to sit there quietly. Your very expensive lawyers are going to sit there quietly. And the prosecutor is going to present her case. And when she's done, you, not your lawyers, you are going to stand up and explain to me why I shouldn't throw the book at you so hard it leaves a mark. I picked up my gavel because, Mr. Veneer, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care who you know. I don't care if you own half the city. In this courtroom, you are just another person who thinks the rules don't apply to them. And I have been dealing with people like you for 40 years, and I am very, very good at my job. I tapped the gavel once. We'll start in 5 minutes. Use that time to think about whether you want to keep playing games with me, because I promise you, I leaned forward one more time. You will lose. Prosecutor Morrison finished her presentation and sat down. Her hands were shaking slightly. Young lawyers always shake in high-profile cases, but her voice had been steady. She'd laid out every violation like she was building a brick wall, solid, unshakable. Then Charles Whitmore stood up, 63 years old, senior partner at one of those enormous downtown firms where they charge you $500 just to say hello. The kind of lawyer who walks into every courtroom expecting to own it. He smoothed his tie, smiled at me like we were old friends. Your Honor, my client takes these allegations very seriously. I held up one hand. Mr. Whitmore, let me stop you right there, because I've been listening to lawyers for 40 years, and I can already tell where this is going. You're about to tell me your client is very concerned. You're about to tell me he wants to make this right, and then you're going to pull out a settlement offer like it's a winning lottery ticket. Whitmore blinked. Am I wrong? He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Your Honor, I was simply going to say, you were going to waste my time. I leaned back in my chair. But go ahead, I've got all day. Well, actually, I don't. But pretend I do. Make your pitch. Whitmore cleared his throat, placed a document on the table like he was laying down a royal flush. Your Honor, Mr. Veneer is prepared to resolve this matter immediately. He will pay all outstanding fines, $1.7 million, plus an additional $2 million to be distributed among the affected local businesses. Furthermore, every code violation will be fully remediated within 60 days. He paused for effect. We believe this is far more productive than prolonging these proceedings. The courtroom went quiet. Even Morrison glanced at her supervisor in the gallery. He gave her a small nod. Take the deal. I picked up the settlement document. Read it slowly. Every word, every clause, every carefully crafted sentence designed to make this problem disappear. Then I set it down. Mr. Whitmore, this is indeed a generous offer. Whitmore smiled. He thought he'd won. However, the smile died. I'm not interested. You could have heard a pin drop in Alaska. Whitmore's face went through 3 emotions in 2 seconds. Confusion, disbelief, panic. Your Honor, surely nothing. I picked up my pen, started making notes, didn't look at him. Let me explain something to you, counselor, and I want you to listen very carefully because I'm only going to say this once. I looked up. Your client had 3 years to do the right thing. 3 years. He got warnings, he got notices, he got opportunities to fix these violations before anyone ever filed a complaint. He got more chances than most people get in a lifetime. And what did he do? Nothing. Not because he couldn't afford it, not because he didn't know, because he didn't think he had to. I tapped the settlement document, and now, after he's been formally prosecuted, after all the evidence has been gathered, after this young prosecutor has spent months building a case against him, now he wants to write a check and make it all go away. I shook my head. That's not remorse, Mr. Whitmore. That's calculation. That's a man who got caught and is trying to buy his way out of consequences. And I don't run a store, I run a courtroom. Whitmore tried one more time. Your Honor, with all due respect, there it is again, I pointed at him. With all due respect, do you know what that phrase actually means? It means, I'm about to disrespect you, but I'm going to say this first so it sounds polite. Well, let me save you the trouble. I don't want your respect. I want your client to follow the law like everyone else. I stood up. I rarely do that. But when I do, people know something is about to happen. Here's what's going to happen, Mr. Whitmore. We are going to proceed with this hearing. We are going to review every piece of evidence. We are going to hear every witness. And then I am going to make a decision based on the LOA, not on what's convenient, not on what's efficient, not on how much money your client has in his bank account, on the LOA. I looked directly at Veneer. Because, Mr. Veneer, you see these people in this courtroom? I gestured around the room. Mrs. Patterson over there, she's been coming to this courthouse for 15 years. She lives on Social Security, and she pays her parking tickets on time. That young man in the back, he works 2 jobs to support his family. Last month, he was here for a traffic violation. He paid his fine without complaint. I walked to the front of the bench. Do you know what they all have in common? They don't have billions of dollars. They don't have 4 lawyers. They don't have private jets or vacation homes, but they follow the rules because that's how society works. Everyone plays by the same rules. Veneer's jaw tightened. So here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to let you walk in here 7 minutes late, throw money at the problem, and pretend that's justice. Because it's not. Justice isn't something you can buy at a discount. It's not a transaction, it's a principle. I sat back down. Now, Mr. Whitmore, unless you have something new to say, something that isn't just my client has money and wants to use it, I suggest you sit down and let the prosecutor continue, because we're done negotiating. Whitmore looked at Veneer. Veneer's face had gone from confident to something darker, something I'd seen 1,000 times before. Rage. The kind of rage that comes when someone who's never been told no hears it for the first time. And that's when Veneer made his first real mistake. He leaned forward and whispered something to Whitmore. Sharp, forceful. Whitmore shook his head. Don't, Veneer whispered again, louder this time. Whitmore's face went pale. Then Richard Veneer stood up. Every lawyer in the room went rigid. You do not let your client address the judge directly. It's one of the most fundamental rules in any courtroom. But Veneer wasn't asking permission. He was already on his feet. You may address the court, Mr. Veneer, I said calmly, but I'm going to warn you right now, whatever you're about to say, think very carefully, because once words come out of your mouth in my courtroom, they go on the record, permanently, and you can't buy them back. Veneer ignored the warning. Your Honor, I appreciate your dedication to principle. I really do. His tone shifted. The politeness evaporated like steam off hot concrete. But let's discuss reality for a moment. Oh, this was going to be good. Reality, Mr. Veneer? Please, enlighten me. He took a step closer to my bench. Nobody approaches the bench without permission. Nobody. Mr. Veneer, that's close enough. Stay where you are. He stopped, but he didn't step back. With all due respect, 3rd time. I held up 3 fingers. That's the 3rd time you've said that, which means you're about to say something really disrespectful. Go ahead, let's hear it. And that's when Richard Veneer made the mistake that would cost him everything.